Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
You may have heard Vincent Price playing the Saint on some classic radio theater programs. Well, today we're going to hear him in another program. This one, Stars Over Hollywood. It was sponsored by Armour Star, who not only made processed meat and processed ham, they also made dial soap from the fats that they got from the ham. So, well, that's a fact. We go back to December 30th, 1950. Stars Over Hollywood. Vincent Price starring as Sagebrush Sam, a Hollywood cowboy, in The Continental Cowboy.
This is Vincent Price with a welcome to Stars Over Hollywood, presented by Armour & Company.
Welcome to Hollywood, home and workshop of the world's most glamorous people. Today, Armour & Company and its thousands of dealers all over the country present a transcribed dramatic radio play titled Continental Cowboy, and starring Vincent Price. The best and nothing but the best is labeled Armour Star.
Armour Star.
Yes, Armour Star. And while we're on the subject of stars, here's Vincent Price.
Hello, Frank.
Hello, Vincent. See, I just heard that you have a great deal in common with our director, Hans Conried. Quite a competition between you two boys.
Oh, I wouldn't really call it competition, Frank. After all, I'm an actor.
Oh.
You've been listening to your agent again, Vincent.
Oh, hello, Hans. I didn't notice you in the booth, hiding behind the engineer.
I was not hiding. You'd better mind your manners, Sirrah. I'm the director here.
Yes, indeed. You know, Frank, just between you and me, I think Hans is being very sensible. He's the only actor I know with sense enough to get himself some honest work while he's still ahead.
Are you inferring that I can no longer be employed as an actor?
Any inferences are strictly your own, old boy. I'm sure I speak the language clearly and correctly.
Oh, come now, you don't believe that diction award from that phony dramatic school.
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
Don't confuse the issue.
Why don't you two fellas save your feud for pantomime quiz? Besides, Vincent, I understand you too have the distinction of operating in more than one medium. I know you just finished the RKO picture, His Kind of Woman.
That's right. At the same time, I was doing pantomime quiz on television.
And, of course, you are the Saint in the radio show of the same name.
And at the same time, I was in the legitimate play, The Winslow Boy.
And weren't you touring the universities, lecturing on the history of art?
What do you do in your spare time? Peddle hashish?
No, Hans. You should know better than that. I do finger painting.
Well, we're just about ready to begin today's story. And now, Act One of Continental Cowboy, starring Vincent Price in the role of Sagebrush Sam. Curtain going up.
Yes, folks, there's a tremendous crowd here jamming Hollywood Boulevard, and a great occasion it is. The world premiere of Sagebrush Sam's newest picture, Sand in My Saddlebag. In just a few minutes now. Wait. Yes, it is. It's Sagebrush Sam and his horse Gunpowder.
No, I can't stand it. These screaming mobs. Giddy up.
What happened? He's galloping away down Hollywood Boulevard. There he goes. Right through a red light. He's taking a left on La Brea. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a surprising turn of events.
Hello? Oh, hello, HB. Oh, but it wasn't a publicity gag. I galloped off because I'm at the end of my lariat. My contract with you is up as of January 1st, so I'm turning in my 6-shooters, my blank cartridges, and that crummy nag. Every place I go, screaming kids, yelling dames. For 5 years, I haven't had 2 minutes to be myself. I'm going to greet the new year as just plain Sam Durant. I'm going away, HB. I don't know where. Any place where Sagebrush Sam can slip quietly out with the old year. Goodbye, HB. World tours? I want a one-way ticket to Paris. Yes, that's right. Paris, France.
Ah, bonjour, monsieur. You wish accommodations?
Yes.
Oh, it is difficult. Paris is always gay and crowded, especially so close to New Year's. But I have just the thing for you. A room. Empty.
Empty. That's fine. I'll take it.
If you will sign the register, your name, Monsieur Sam Durand, and here the address. Hollywood. You are from Hollywood, monsieur. Oh, that is a place I would like to see. How you must live.
Yes, we must. Look, is there some place I could get a good cup of coffee? It's been a long trip.
Oh, oui, monsieur. Come with me. The cafe is right in here.
Oh, thank you.
You will like Charles the waiter. Very friendly. Charles! Charles, this is Monsieur Durand. Monsieur is from Hollywood. Charles will take care of you, monsieur.
Hollywood? Oh, would you like a glass of missionary?
That's a good idea, Charles.
You know, this Hollywood of yours, monsieur, it is through your cinema pictures that ones like myself know what America is like.
Oh, what's it like?
Well, it is like a desert, only with hills and trees and grass. And the people, some are cowboys, some are Indians. Myself, I go to all the Hollywood Indian and cowboy pictures. Come to think of it, you remind me...
Charles, don't look at me that way.
Monsieur, it is you. I look at you, and in my head I add on a 10-liter hat, a mustache, a horse. Ah, Sagebrush Sam himself, in Paris for the holidays. Oh, bonne année.
Oh, look, forget it, please.
Oh, to think, sitting here personally, Sagebrush Sam, who is greater than Billy the Child, and the brothers James, all pushed into one.
Charles, look at it this way. I had to hit the trail. The rustlers are after me, and if the information gets out...
Messieurs et mesdames! Regardez, le monsieur Sagebrush Sam, regardez!
Oh, no, not in Paris, too. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Charles has made the big faux pas. I am not Sagebrush Sam. Get me a taxi.
Oui, Monsieur Sagebrush. Oh, I know you would rather have a Pinto Mustang, but again in Paris we have no such.
Charles, get me a cab.
Where to, monsieur?
I don't know yet. Just start driving.
May we, monsieur? If you have no place in your head, monsieur, you might like to visit the Palais de Hollywood. Just like in Hollywood, America.
Look, I want a place just not like in Hollywood, America.
Oh.
Hey, tell me, Cabby, did you ever get so sick and tired of being gawked at, chased by little children and breakfast cereals, riding horses all day?
Did I ever get tired of that?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you would.
Oh, speaking of riding horses reminds me, my taxi, I have named him Gunpowder.
Oh, no, not gunpowder.
Oui, monsieur. After the horse, which is driven by the American cowboy, Sagebrush Sam.
That should make the horse very happy. Now take me someplace where I can get a sandwich, and let's giddy-ap about it.
Very well, monsieur. Hey-ho, Gunpowder! Monsieur must have been lonely to invite me to have the luncheon with him.
Yeah.
We have been sitting here watching Paris pass by until the whole afternoon has passed with it.
So it has. Almost 6 o'clock. Say, Cabby, tell me, the very beautiful young lady at the table to my left, who is she?
Who is she?
Well, let me put it this way. Who is she?
Monsieur, that is Lisette.
And who is Lisette?
The lady you just asked about?
Well, I mean the way you said her name, as if she were a famous race car driver or something.
Oh, no. Lisette, she's a star of the French cinema.
Oh?
She's not, how do you say it, pick-me-up.
No, there's something about her.
Oh, even blind, you would know that.
The little boy is sitting with her. Her son?
Oh, no, monsieur. It is one of our little guests from the Chez Enfants. Monsieur, she's walking toward you.
Yeah.
Oh, and they say that Frenchmen are the world's greatest lovers. course.
They do?
Well, I must thank you for the lunch, monsieur. And now, if you will excuse me, I do not wish to be, how you say, the number 3 in the crowd. Bonsoir, monsieur.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, mademoiselle Lisette.
Bonsoir, monsieur. Hello.
Oh, you're Lisette. Cabby told me.
And you are Sagebrush Sam. Nobody told me.
Oh, please, Sam Durant. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. Would you sit with me?
No, I came to ask you to join us.
Well, I don't know why not. Let's go. Little boy, Cabby said he was a friend.
Yes, a very good little friend. He's the reason I was so bold to speak to you.
I was afraid it would be something like that. I am very popular with women who have small children. Small, mean children.
Oh, Jacques is not mean. Look, I think he recognizes you already. Jacques? Do you know who this is?
Oh, oui, it is Monsieur Sagebrush Sam. I must be having a dream.
Well, thank you, Jacques. However you meant it.
Please, sit down.
Oh, thanks.
I will come right to the point. You see, Jacques lives at the Chez Enfants, a home for orphans. The day after tomorrow, New Year's Day, we have arranged a big entertainment for the children. Will you come, monsieur? It would mean so much.
No rest for the wicked or Sagebrush Sam, huh? I'll make you a deal. You be my date New Year's Eve, and I'll go to the orphanage New Year's Day.
All right. You have a deal.
Oh, that's swell. We can go someplace and dance.
Yes, we can have the orchestra play Home on the Range.
Hey, you haven't stepped on my toes once. You must have danced with Americans before. You know, I've seen you before, and I never go to French movies. I'm too young.
There are many faces like mine. It is not likely as you have seen me.
But I see you now.
Merci.
All right, let's get back to our table. It's almost 12 o'clock, and our New Year's drink is waiting.
All right. I enjoy the dance.
Me too.
Oh, Sam, it looks like we're going to have company. A friend of mine, he will want to meet you. He's American, or English, I think. Ralph Jordan, a Hollywood columnist.
It's just what I need, publicity.
Oh, Lisette, how are you? Anything scandalous going on this New Year's Eve, I hope?
No. Monsieur Jordan, Monsieur Durant.
Durant, as I live and breathe. April in Paris, sagebrush in blossom. Now sit down. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Jordan.
Oh, come now. Shouldn't it be howdy, partner, or some equally absurd salutation? Or maybe even bonsoir? French in a cowboy drawl. How droll.
If you'll excuse us, Mr. Jordan, we have an appointment at Napoleon's tomb.
Oh, he'll wait. Besides, you haven't finished your drink. This is champagne, isn't it?
Monsieur, you're being very rude. I thought you would be pleased to meet Monsieur Durant.
Oh, but doll, I am. What other columnist has ever seen Sagebrush Sam, the model cowboy, drinking champagne? And Sam, is that... No, it can't be. Yes, it is. You're smoking a cigarette.
Jordan, don't you consider anyone's reputation?
Oh, certainly my own. A story's a story. Poor Sagebrush Sam. Celebrating New Year's without his big hat and fancy vest. Virtually naked. Except for his drink and cigarette.
Look, I don't care if you hurt me or my reputation, but Sagebrush Sam is more than me. I came here so he'd be forgotten, sure, but I want him forgotten the right way.
Sam, let's get out of here.
In a minute. Jordan, how much will you take to kill that story?
You mean money?
Anything you want.
But, Sam, a scoop like this means prestige. The more prestige, the more money. Oh. Now I'll have to tell my loyal readers you try to bribe me out of this.
Jordan, if you send that story...
I know. You'll throw 6 fast rounds of snarling lead through my heart. Then you'll get out your guitar, and you will sing 2 choruses of Blue Tail Flower.
Over your dead body.
Sam, in a way, I'm glad this is happening.
Not anything to make you glad.
I mean, the way you talked before, the silly kids, the half-wit cowboy. I didn't think you really meant it.
Well, I did.
Mr. Jordan, please, for me. There's nothing wrong with having one drink for New Year's, but you can make it look wrong with your cheap tricks. And it will be a dream that suffers.
Oh, Lisette, don't be naive. Finding clay feet's my specialty.
I think you're going to have to find a clay nose.
No. This isn't the wild and woolly West. This is the wild and woolly Rue de la Paix. Don't think like Sagebrush Sam. So another cowboy bites the dust.
Are you out?
Oh, c'est terrible.
Sam, you missed! You got the head waiter!
Please, Monsieur, silence! It is 12 o'clock. Your fake noise will drown out the New Year noises. Please, quiet, please.
Stars Over Hollywood, December 30th, 1950 on Classic Radio Theater. Although Hans Conried was a wonderful performer, very hilarious in a lot of the things he did a lot of production. And Fractured Flickers was a TV show that was very, very underrated, where they took lots of old movie footage and cut new dialogue to it. But you hear him especially in the director of this program. He is the director, legitimately, of Stars Over Hollywood, December 30th, 1950. Vincent Price as Sagebrush Sam, the Continental Cowboy.
We return now to the second act of Continental Cowboy, starring Vincent Price as Sagebrush Sam. During a New Year's Eve date with Lisette, a French movie actress, Sagebrush Sam was recognized by columnist Ralph Jordan, who threatened to write a feature on the cowboy star complete with champagne and cigarette. Sam's resentment started a nightclub brawl at the stroke of midnight, and on New Year's morning we find both Sam and Ralph in jail. Lisette arrives.
Sam, are you all right?
All right, certainly I'm all right. Who wouldn't be after spending New Year's Eve in a French jail? Back to the Bastille, starring Sagebrush Sam.
Soon they'll cart you to the guillotine, I hope.
And they had to put Writing Boy in the same cell with me, too.
Pay no attention to him, Sam. Soon they will let you out of here. I'm fixing it. I have many big friends in Paris. They are right now pulling strings to get you out. Him they will keep tied up with red tape as long as possible.
Oh, I don't mind. I can sit here and think of the story I'm going to write. Sagebrush Sam thrown in dungeon after brawl in French cabaret.
Do not worry. This will not get into the Paris papers.
I'll know.
Just ignore him, Sam.
You should have thought of that last night. Look, just go away, please. And tell the kids I was unexpectedly shot in the back.
Oh, Sam, you can't let them down. Little Jacques has told them you're coming, and they are excited as New Year's.
And I left Hollywood to get away from it all.
Ah, monsieur, and to think the other night you rode in my taxi, and I did not recognize you.
I forgive you.
Sam, have you decided what you will say to the children?
I'm not quite sure what to say. After all, they're French kids.
Oh,
and
Sam, they're kids. It does not matter where they come from. They're little children with their dreams and their heroes.
Yeah, go ahead, rub it in. So the kids don't read the papers, but it still gets around. You know how little it takes to break a kid's pretty bubble. They can't understand.
It will be all right, Sam. Somehow it will be all right.
I don't see how, Lisette. That last day in Hollywood, I didn't consider Sagebrush Sam, just Sam Durant. I never knew until now how much that cowboy means to me. I feel lost without him.
We're almost there. The children are waiting for Sagebrush. When you walk in, he will be there.
Just like a kid. Thanks.
Just like a kid. I meant it.
Are you sure the kids will understand me in English?
Oh, yes. They study English in the early grades. Besides, just looking at you will be enough.
Voilà, monsieur. We are here, chez enfants. Do you wish me to come back for you later when it is over?
Yes, we will call your stand at the hotel when we are ready.
Thank you, monsieur.
Let's go around the back way so you will not be mobbed.
I still don't know. Why do you do all of this for these kids? Why this interest in this orphanage, huh?
I lived here for many years.
You grew up here?
Oh, no, not all the way. I was adopted and taken to America. I wanted to become an actress. Then, 5 years ago, I got a bit in Hollywood. But I could get no place, so I came back to France.
Why don't you go back and try again? I'll talk to HB. I know a lot of producers.
Oh, don't worry for me. I will get back to America someday. Here's the back door to the stage. It's really not a stage, just a room where the children can gather.
Mademoiselle Lisette, Monsieur Sagebrush, I have been waiting for you.
Oh, Jacques, you look fine. Isn't that a new suit?
Almost new, Mademoiselle. Yesterday, a lady brought a great box of clothes that had become too small for her sons.
Well, it looks great.
Sam, soon it will be turning dark. When it is your turn to appear, I have an idea. In a little while, we will bring the children out in the yard where you will have a campfire going.
Oh, yes, Monsieur Sagebrush. My friends would like that.
Okay, Jacques, we'll do it. All right, Smarty, you better find me some kerosene and matches.
Oh, mademoiselle, you have not told him of the magnificent costume we have gathered.
Oh, of course. Bring the box, Jacques. It is not exactly a Sagebrush Sam suit, but it is the best we could do.
French cavalry boots, a cutaway vest, ski pants, and... Hey, what's this, a 10-gallon beret?
Vincent Price in Stars Over Hollywood, December 30th, 1950, The Continental Cowboy. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater here on your favorite radio station. The conclusion next.
Here's a great thing to consider doing right now before the end of the year. Call MediShare and find out just how much you would save by switching to MediShare, the affordable alternative to health insurance. When you call, you'll get some good news and probably be very happily surprised, too. The typical family saves $500 a month, but you might save even more. It's so worth it to at least find out. And you'll see why more than 400,000 people are already members. MediShare is a Christian community that's shared more than $4 billion in each other's healthcare costs. It really is remarkable, and they're very easy to talk to. And here's the thing. If you join before the end of the year, they'll waive your new member fee. That's another $170 you'll save. I'll give you the number here in a second. The call, and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 31st, so call now. You'll save even more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Mike Lindell, the inveterate CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Deep discounts on all MyPillow products, like the buy one, get one free special on Giza Dream Sheets. All MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Call 1-800-951-8175 or go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special. Use my promo code USA. Although Hans Conried was a wonderful performer, very hilarious in a lot of the things he did a lot of production. And Fractured Flickers was a TV show that was very, very underrated, where they took lots of old movie footage and cut new dialogue to it. But you hear him especially in the director of this program. He is the director, legitimately, of Stars Over Hollywood. December 30th, 1950, Vincent Price as Sagebrush Sam, the Continental Cowboy.
We return now to the second act of Continental Cowboy, starring Vincent Price as Sagebrush Sam. During a New Year's Eve date with Lisette, a French movie actress, Sagebrush Sam was recognized by columnist Ralph Jordan, who threatened to write a feature on the cowboy star complete with champagne and cigarette. Sam's resentment started a nightclub brawl at the stroke of midnight, and on New Year's morning we find both Sam and Ralph in jail. Lisette arrives.
Sam, are you all right?
All right, certainly I'm all right. Who wouldn't be after spending New Year's Eve in a French jail? Back to the Bastille, starring Sagebrush Sam.
Soon they'll cart you to the guillotine, I hope.
And they had to put Writing Boy in the same cell with me, too.
Pay no attention to him, Sam. Soon they will let you out of here. I'm fixing it. I have many big friends in Paris. They're right now pulling strings to get you out. Him they will keep tied up with red tape as long as possible.
Oh, I don't mind. I can sit here and think of the story I'm going to write. Sagebrush Sam thrown in dungeon after brawl in French cabaret.
Do not worry. This will not get into the Paris papers.
I'll know.
Just ignore him, Sam.
You should have thought of that last night. Look, just go away, please. And tell the kids I was unexpectedly shot in the back.
Oh, Sam, you can't let them down. Little Jacques has told them you are coming, and they are excited as New Year's.
And I left Hollywood to get away from it all.
Monsieur, and to think the other night you rode in my taxi, and I did not recognize you.
I forgive you.
Sam, have you decided what you will say to the children?
I'm not quite sure what to say. After all, they're French kids.
Oh, Sam, they're kids. It does not matter where they come from. They're little children with their dreams and their heroes.
Yeah, go ahead, rub it in. So the kids don't read the papers, but it still gets around. You know how little it takes to break a kid's pretty bubble? They can't understand.
It will be all right, Sam. Somehow it will be all right.
I don't see how, Lisette. That last day in Hollywood, I didn't consider Sagebrush Sam, just Sam Durant. I never knew until now how much that cowboy means to me. I feel lost without him.
We're almost there. The children are waiting for Sagebrush. When you walk in, he will be there.
Just like a kid. Thanks.
Just like a kid. I meant it.
Are you sure the kids will understand me in English?
Oh, yes. They study English in the early grades. Besides, just looking at you will be enough.
Voilà, monsieur. We are here, chez enfants. You wish me to come back for you later when it is over?
Yes, we will call your stand at the hotel when we are ready.
Thank you, monsieur.
Let's go around the back way so you will not be mobbed.
I still don't know. Why do you do all of this for these kids? Why this interest in this orphanage, huh?
I lived here for many years.
You grew up here?
Oh, no, not all the way. I was adopted and taken to America. I wanted to become an actress. Then, 5 years ago, I got a bit in Hollywood. But I could get no place, so I came back to France.
Why don't you go back and try again? I'll talk to HB. I know a lot of producers.
Oh, don't worry for me. I will get back to America someday. Here's the back door to the stage. It's really not a stage, just a room where the children can gather.
Mademoiselle Lisette, Monsieur Sagebrush, I have been waiting for you.
Oh, Jacques, you look fine. Isn't that a new suit?
Almost new, Mademoiselle. Yesterday, a lady bought a great box of clothes that had become too small for her sons.
Well, it looks great.
Sam, soon it will be turning dark. When it is your turn to appear, I have an idea. In a little while, we will bring the children out in the yard where you will have a campfire going.
Oh, yes, Monsieur Sagebrush. My friends would like that.
Okay, Jacques, we'll do it. All right, Smarty, you better find me some kerosene and matches.
Oh, Mademoiselle, you have not told him of the magnificent costume we have gathered.
Oh, of course. Bring the box, Jacques. It is not exactly a Sagebrush Sam suit, but it is the best we could do.
French cavalry boots, a cutaway vest, ski pants, and... Hey, what's this, a 10-gallon beret?
Vincent Price in Stars Over Hollywood, December 30th, 1950, The Continental Cowboy. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater here on your favorite radio station. The conclusion next. Before we head off to Johnny Dollar, I want to remind you our webpage, classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. We've got our Facebook and Twitter links up there so that you can follow us anytime and get up to date on what's going on with Classic Radio Theater. But now, the conclusion of the yours truly, Johnny Dollar story, The Forbes Matter. This episode originally broadcast December 30th, 1955.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
This is Betsy Walker, Mr. Dollar. I'm up and around.
Yes, thanks for calling. Have any time this morning?
I think so.
If possible, I'd like to come over to your apartment again and take an inventory of the gifts that Sheldon Forbes sent you.
That'll be all right, sure.
About an hour?
Sure. I couldn't sleep much last night thinking about all this. I mean, he stole that money because of me.
You mustn't feel that way, Miss Walker. He knew what he was doing. You had no part in the theft.
I have the gifts.
Well, we may have to take those away from you.
I don't mind that. You said he tried suicide. How is he this morning?
I just talked to the hospital. He's going to be all right.
But he has to go to prison?
Yes.
Funny world, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Continental Adjustment Bureau, 418 Elizabeth Avenue, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Forbes matter. More expenses, items 11 to 16. $78.40. Cab fares, meals, accounting services, legal services, cab fares, and more cab fares. I made a comprehensive inventory at Betsy Walker's apartment and spent the rest of the day tracking down the places where the items had been purchased and ascertaining their retail values. Total, $2,780 worth of gifts, bought with stolen money. Betsy Walker also told me that Sheldon Forbes had made appointments to meet her at various times at very expensive restaurants in New York. She had never once kept any of these appointments, but a check with the Waldorf, 21, the Stork, and several other places revealed that Forbes had always made elaborate arrangements to entertain her. His restaurant bills came to $835. The florist bill, $670. Total amount spent, $4,285. Total amount stolen, $4,285. Century Styles Incorporated footed the bill in his unsuccessful courtship of Betsy Walker. Hello.
Hi.
Remember me, Forbes?
Sure, insurance man. Well, what now?
How do you feel?
Okay. You saved me, didn't you?
I suppose so.
Why?
Same reason you'd save a man who was dying. Huh. You know what I've been doing?
What?
Answering the questions you wouldn't answer. I met Betsy Walker.
What?
My job, Forbes. I had to.
How did you know about her?
I followed you night before last when you got out on bail. I saw you go to the theater.
Listen, you had no right to go to her. You have no right to involve her in any of this.
Why didn't you think of that a month or so ago? It's the company's money you've been spending on her. I had every right, as unpleasant as it is.
I suppose she knows all about me now.
That's right, all.
Boy, I sure must look like the prize sucker of all time. Must have handed her a laugh.
She didn't think it was one bit funny. And Forbes, I don't think it's funny either.
Then what are you standing here for? Lording it over me?
I'm not doing that at all. I'm just here to let you know how things are at the moment.
All right. How are things?
Well, first off, we took back all the gifts you gave her.
Dirty skunk.
Don't get mad at me, Forbes. Get mad at yourself. I didn't steal the money and try to impress her. You did.
Why didn't you leave it alone? What difference does the money make to you?
Nothing to me, but it means something to my insurance company. They still want it back, and they'll get as much back as they can.
Well, swell. Good for them. What do you want now?
Your signature.
Hmm?
I think I traced most of it down. You want to look this over? Go ahead. Those figures about right?
I suppose so. I didn't keep track.
Approximately?
I suppose so. You're pretty thorough, aren't you?
We have to be. Will you sign this?
No.
It'll help to clear up our bookwork a little. What difference does it make now? We've got you cold.
Okay. What difference does it make? Give me.
Okay, thanks.
That's all it means to you, isn't it?
Hmm?
Dollars and cents.
Dollars and cents that were stolen, Forbes. Remember that.
You wouldn't let me forget it.
No, I wouldn't. You did the dumbest thing in the world. You stole nearly $5,000 trying to make an impression on a girl who didn't want to have a thing to do with you. You went about it wrong from top to bottom. You've acted like the great stone face ever since you've been found out. You wouldn't bother telling me about it. I had to go out and find out myself. Off the record, Forbes. What'd you do? See her on the stage one night?
No, at the office.
Office? Your office?
No, not exactly. Ellie was having a showing for some buyers from the West Coast one day a few weeks ago. For those kind of showings, he hires models from the agency. Betsy's listed with one of the agencies. You know, she acts and sings and models.
Oh, sure.
Well, I happened to be upstairs when the showing was going on. There were a lot of publicity people there taking pictures and so on. And I saw her. She was wearing a black dress, and her hair was soft. She's got a smile like all the sun risings. Sounds silly?
Not at all.
It's just that I never in all my life saw anyone like her before.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is with other guys, but she was for me from then on. I couldn't get her out of my mind. I found out her name, and then I found out she worked in that show at the Empress Theater.
Yeah?
All I had was her name. I didn't know how to go about meeting her. I just didn't know.
You figured a little money might attract her to you.
I've heard that's the best way to do it.
It's one way. Not the best way, kid.
Probably not. The best way I could think of.
What did you think about taking the money?
I thought I'd be able to stick it back. Well, I guess I really didn't think much beyond just meeting her. Having her look at me the way I wanted her to look at me.
What?
It was the wrong way to go about it, sure. But then did you ever think of my alternative? I thought of it. I pictured myself knocking on a door one night, and I could see her answering it. I'm Shelley Forbes, Betsy, I'd say. Clothes don't make the man, I'd say, while she sort of took in my tweed suit and the only coat I've got to my name. Listen, I'd say, I got an 8x10 apartment over on 59th Street. The halls always smell like cabbage, but I'm a heck of a fine guy. And I drive a 1946 Ford that misses a little, but it's good enough for us. And then I'd say, why don't you toss on your mink, and we'll go over to my dump, and we'll have a bottle of beer, and I'll tell you how much I love you. How about that? Some alternative, huh? She makes more money in an hour than I make in a week. I couldn't even afford to keep her in cigarettes. Lord, I wanted her like nothing in my whole life.
She might have taken you up on it, Forbes, if you'd put it that way.
Yeah? What makes you think so?
She wasn't impressed by any money or any gifts. More than that, I met her. She's a pretty nice girl.
Yeah.
Up until the time I talked with Sheldon Forbes in the hospital, I'd always had my doubts about love happening at first sight. After my talk with him, I was convinced that it could and did happen to him. I was sorry that he didn't know quite how to handle it. I was also wondering, if I'd been in his shoes, would I have done the same thing? Expense account item 17, $4.90. I sent a wire to my home office telling them that the recovery would be in the amount of something like $2,500, obtainable on the redeemable gift items recovered. After that, I went back to my hotel. I was surprised to find Betsy Walker waiting in the lobby.
Hello, Mr. Dollar.
Why, hello.
I was afraid you might leave town. I wanted to talk to you.
Sure, you just caught me. I was going upstairs and pack. What is it?
Could we have a drink or something?
Sure. Expense account item 18, $2, 2 drinks. For Betsy Walker and myself at the hotel bar. It was midday and there wasn't much action. She sat across from me, ordered an old-fashioned, and asked for a cigarette.
Thank you.
Sure.
What'll happen to him?
Forbes?
Yes.
Oh, he'll be sentenced Monday. They canceled the Friday scheduling because he was in the hospital.
He'll go to prison?
Yes.
Have you seen him since he tried to kill himself?
Just left him.
I guess he feels awful.
Yeah.
I told you I haven't been able to sleep thinking about all this. Well, about him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Would he have to go to prison even if all the money was returned?
Only half of it's redeemable. The rest, florist bills, restaurants and so on, just gone.
How much does it come to, Mr. Dollar?
Short about $2,000, roughly.
If you had that money, what would happen to him?
Oh, it'd be up to the court. I'd say he'd have a good chance of getting off if he changed his plea.
Could I get him to change his plea?
I think you could get him to do anything.
I want to pay it.
You what?
I want to pay that other $2,000 for him and get him to change his plea. I'll make up the whole thing.
Hey, now, look, Miss Walker, I know your motives might be the best, but you aren't responsible in any way for this man's actions.
He stole money because of me. He tried suicide because of me. And now he's going to prison because of me.
But you had nothing to do with it, no part of it.
You may think I'm 22 years old. I'll be 29 next month. I'm not much of an actress or a singer or anything else. But I've been around this town and I know my way around. And I met all kinds. Whoever he is, whatever he's done, he's the first man I've ever known who actually went out on a limb for a girl he loved. I'm the girl, and he's the man.
You're serious?
I probably won't remember his name a year from now. But that poor, stupid, wonderful dumbbell, he doesn't belong in any prison. He ought to get married to some nice girl somewhere. I want to help him get out of this trouble. Can I?
Betsy?
After all, he's given me something. Call it faith in mankind again, if you like. What's the kiss for?
What you just gave me, Betsy. faith. Expense account item 19, $48, hotel. Item 20, $37, meals. 21, $15, miscellaneous. 22, same as item 1, $28.63, fare back to Hartford. Total cost of investigation, $363.51. Remarks? She got Forbes to change his plea. She paid back the additional money. He comes to trial next week. He might get a suspended sentence. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Remember, there'll be another intriguing story for you beginning next Monday night.
Next week, a trip south of the border where the flashing eyes of a dark-haired senorita spells plenty of, well, believe me, romance and trouble can go hand in hand. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in this week's cast were Lillian Baeff, Sandra Gould, Jack Edwards, Herb Ellis, James McCallion, Parley Bear, John Stevenson, Howard McNair, Bob Bruce, and Junius Matthews. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Be sure to join us on Monday night, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
December 30th, 1955, yours truly, Johnny Dollar on Classic Radio Theater. It's nice when stories like this can actually come out with a happy ending, such as it is. Visit my webpage, Classic Radio Stream, classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting. Contact me there. We also have links to our other social media there so that you can follow us and stay immediately on touch in your news feed with what's going on with us. Don't forget that our shows are available anywhere podcasts are served just by searching for USA Classic Radio Theater. We have links to that also at classicradio.stream. Please thank this radio station, support the advertisers, tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite radio station.